We're back once again here on the Dallas Cowboys, FANS, and the drama continues. The fallout from Micah Parsons' trade request has thrown a wrench into what was supposed to be a relatively quiet part of training camp. So now, the question is this: would the Cowboys actually consider granting that trade request? At this point, it feels like anything is on the table, at least in theory. The team has declined to comment officially, but someone is going to have to speak on it. We're expecting to hear from Brian Schottenheimer on Saturday, and let me just say I do not envy Schotty right now. He's about to walk into a media firestorm that isn't even his doing. Now, let me be clear up front. I still have serious doubts that Dallas actually trades Micah Parsons. There are a lot of layers here, and a lot of politics behind closed doors. But if they did go down that road, if the Cowboys actually made that move, who are the teams that could make sense as a landing spot? And what would Micah's trade value even look like right now? Because I promise you, this wouldn't be a simple deal. It would be one of the biggest trades in modern NFL history. And look, if you're watching this and just want the Cowboys to stop dragging their feet and pay Micah Parsons, then do me a favor and like this video. We've been saying it for over a year. Delaying this extension is costing the Cowboys money, and it's creating tension that didn't need to exist. You're not saving anything long-term by waiting. All you're doing is risking a full-blown rift with your most impactful defensive player and maybe your most impactful overall player. If you're tired of the Cowboys botching big contract extensions, just hit the like button and let them know. Despite all of this noise, I honestly don't think this trade request guarantees that Parsons ends up wearing a different jersey anytime soon. I don't even know if deep down that's truly what he wants. This could just be another chapter in the bizarre, frustrating way the Cowboys handle contract negotiations. It's entirely possible this is all part of the standard playbook. Go public, create leverage, force the team to move. And if history tells us anything, it's that these kinds of trade demands rarely result in an actual move, especially when we're talking about players of Micah's caliber. You look at guys like T. Higgins asked for a trade, didn't get one, will probably get paid. Trey Hendrickson has asked out twice from the Bengals, still there. Myles Garrett, who actually trains with Micah in the offseason, got a massive contract from the Browns without much drama. That might end up being the exact same story here. Dallas will cave, like they always do. They'll end up giving Micah $42 million or more per year, and everyone will move on, like nothing happened, except they'll have paid more than they would a year ago if they just handled it properly in the first place. Still, now that the request is out there, the door is open whether the team wants to admit it or not. And once a door opens, it's hard to close it without some fallout. Let's be blunt. The timing for any sort of Micah Parsons trade is awful. The optimal window was months ago, back in March, before the draft, when more teams had cap flexibility, full pick stockpiles, and clearer long-term plans. You're not going to generate the same bidding war in early August. Several potential suitors have already made their pass rush moves. The Falcons are one traded a future first to get another rusher. Arizona paid Josh Sweat. Even teams like Seattle and New Orleans have locked in other plans. So if you're Dallas and you're thinking of moving him now, you're already negotiating from a weakened position. That hurts your leverage. The pool of interested teams is smaller. The competition is lower, and that's just not how you want to approach trading away a generational talent. As far as what Micah is worth, I think there's a fair historical baseline. Think Jalen Ramsey's original deal, 2 first-round picks, and a 4th. That's probably the starting point. Then there's the Khalil Mack trade. That was basically 2 firsts, with some extra picks and a second rounder coming back the other way. Not identical, but similar in weight. Now, both of those players were great, but Micah is younger, more versatile, and arguably more impactful. So yeah, I think you're talking 2 first-round picks minimum, and maybe more, especially if you want a quality player included in return. But let's be real, if you're a contending team, are you giving up a key player and draft capital to get Micah? That's a tall ask. Some of you might say, what about a Herschel Walker-type trade? Let me just stop you right there. That's never happening again. That trade was a once-in-a-lifetime mix of desperation and mismanagement. You are not getting 3 firsts, 3 seconds, a third, a sixth, and half of someone's practice squad in return. Unless Patrick Mahomes were somehow available on a rookie deal, and he's not, that's just not how NFL trades work anymore. And don't forget, any team that trades for Micah is also signing up to pay him top dollar. He will make more than T.J. Watt, more than Myles Garrett, and it will be fully guaranteed or close to it. That's part of the deal. So who would actually make sense in a hypothetical Micah Parsons trade? Let's talk about some possible destinations, just for fun. Start with the Detroit Lions. Great team, trending up, with Aiden Hutchinson already on one side. The idea of pairing Hutch and Parsons is terrifying, but they probably can't afford it long term. They're already budgeting for Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, and others. Micah would push them over the top this year, but might be unsustainable financially beyond that. Then there's Buffalo. They've been flirting with a Super Bowl run for years, and they have the kind of win-now mindset that might justify a bold move. Their pass rush is inconsistent, and Micah would absolutely transform that defense. It's a long shot, but not impossible. Chicago is another intriguing one. They've already paid Montez Sweat, and adding Micah to that front would be a statement. But the Bears are already aggressive spenders. How many assets are they really willing to throw around before it bites them? How about the Chargers? They've got a star quarterback in Justin Herbert. They've cleared cap space, and they could use a younger, more explosive edge rusher with Khalil Mack aging. Micah in L.A. with Jim Harbaugh? That's either fireworks or friction. I honestly don't know which. But it'd be fun to watch. Tennessee could also be a dark horse. They're rebuilding, but they do have an early projected pick, and that might tempt Dallas more than a late-round playoff team. Plus, they desperately need edge help. Their current pass rush depth is paper thin. And then there's New England. The Patriots have tons of cap space and a defense that could actually become elite with Micah added to the mix. They already have some talent, Keon White, Christian Barmore, but Parsons would give them a whole new identity. And let's be honest, Belichick or whoever ends up running that defense would find creative ways to unleash him. Now, divisional teams like the Eagles, Commanders, or Giants? Just forget it. Even if the Cowboys were done with Micah, they're not about to send him to an NFC East rival to wreck them twice a year. They'd take less from an AFC team just to avoid that nightmare. So let's make this interactive. If you're watching right now, tell me in the comments, would you trade Micah Parsons? Type P for pay him or T for trade him. I'm going with P. Always have. He's too valuable, too rare, too special to let go, especially when you could have locked him up a year ago for less than what it's going to take now. This saga isn't over yet. We'll have updates for you every step of the way. Make sure you're subscribed right here on youtube.com/cowboys. And if you want in on the Micah pool, Venmo me $5. We're tracking it like a fantasy league at this point. Thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. Hit that like button if you want the front office to wake up and do the obvious thing: pay. Micah Parsons.